Well, February has been super intense in the US and the stock market took a beating. For example, Tesla lost about 25% of its value just during February. And overall, it was just a bad month for investors and my portfolio lost almost 800 euros just during February. Hello finance people, I'm Robert and on this channel I talk about investing and personal finance from a European perspective. So let's just jump into my portfolio tracker and I'll show you what's going on. And by the way, if you want to download this portfolio tracker, the link is in the video description. It's the first one there, just grab it from there. First, let's take a look at stocks. So here I have two stocks left. I have Nokia and Microsoft. So if I look at their performance, Microsoft didn't do that well, still minus 6%, but Nokia has been in a steady increase for the last few months and this month is no different. So right now I am down by 39 euros in February, so not a big deal, not a big drop. Next, let's take a look at crypto, and for crypto I only have BNB coin left. I bought it long time ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, and I still have it. I'm still looking when to sell it because I already sold my Bitcoin and Ripple. I sold those in the late last year, but Bitcoin has been a bit on a downturn right now because we started with about 90,000 euros this month or February, and then it dropped to 77,000. Now it rebounded a little bit, but you can see that there's a little bit more turbulence now. For a long time, for a couple months, it was really steady, but I think the Bitcoin community expected more from Trump, but so far it hasn't come to life. I think if the Bitcoin will drop to about 60, I might consider start buying it. Right now, to me, this is too risky, so I'm kind of staying away from it. And then if we take a look at my biggest part of my portfolio, which is ETFs. For ETFs, I actually had pretty bad month. This is where most of my loss came. You can see that I have 4 different ETFs. Right now, I'm just buying this one ETF. It's the S&P 500 accumulating, and you can see that it dropped quite a lot, 1.6%. So it's a lot for an ETF. In total, the drop was 670 euros, and that's 1.4% drop in 1 month. So basically, whatever I made at the beginning of this year, it's been wiped out by this month. Well, sorry, okay, we only had January, so it's not a lot. Basically, I'm in the minus right now in this year, I believe so. And one thing I want to also point out here is notice how the world ETF has a much smaller drop than the S&P 500. And this is one of the reasons a lot of investors do choose to just invest in one world ETF. That way you have distributed the risk not only among different companies, but also different regions. Although most world ETFs also include US, and it's a big part of it, 50-60% of the whole portfolio, but still, you can see in these kind of scenarios, you also get less loss because you're distributing the risk. But on the other hand, when things are going well, when we're hitting all the records, you're going to also usually see a bit less profits from a world ETF than from S&P 500. But this is only historical data. It doesn't mean it will repeat itself. And just what's interesting for S&P 500, it was actually quite stable for a long time, but then at the end of February, you see here around 20th, it just dropped. There's just too much volatility right now in the market, and investors are a bit more hesitant just because how US politics is going right now. Just interesting to see how this is going to play out this year. Are we going to have a sort of a year that we're not going to see any profit, or is it going to be again a record year where we end up with the highest S&P 500 ever? So, and speaking of ETFs, I have a newsletter where I share my thoughts about investing and personal finance from a European perspective. If you want to receive the weekly newsletter, just sign up. The link will be in the description. You can just click there. Next one is the last asset, which is peer-to-peer, and this one is going steady, really steady here. The only difference here, I think for Mintos, I got maybe somebody signed up using my link, so then I got a bit more than usually, 38 euros this month, although usually I get about 20 euros, and you can see Esketit is 22 euros. That's what I expect every month. No problem so far. I'm pretty happy with the peer-to-peer lending. However, I'm not planning to add any more money to peer-to-peer lending during this year. here. For now, I'm happy what I have, but things can change. I can change my opinion as well. So if we take a look overall, you can see that he was mostly in the red. I lost about 777 euros this month, and that's 1.3%. And I went from, well, almost 60,000 to 59,000. It's okay. These months will come, and actually at some point there'll be much worse months. So this was a bad month, but it wasn't catastrophical. I'm still doing the same, just investing every month into one ETF, although I have more of them, but right now I'm just investing in one. That's the S&P 500. And I just want to let the time do its thing. I'm investing for long term, so I'm not worried about these little fluctuations. Now we live in uncertain times again, so I got worried about what if my broker goes bankrupt? What would happen to my money? That's why I created this video right here, where I talk about the protections you have if the Giro, Interactive Brokers, or eToro go bankrupt.